What is going on, everybody, man? And King Recon here to talk about JoJo Highway Star, man. And it was just as good as I remembered it, man. But this episode really reminds me of how good Araki is at setting things up in a manner that I least expected. Because I forgot how we got into the whole Highway Star thing anyway, but I just love how he sets it up first with a game. First, he introduces the alien, right? And then he makes it a shapeshifter so Josuke will want to gamble and get some money. And then of course he challenges Rohan, and they already don't like each other. Then it leaves the game incomplete and his house is on fire. So Rohan's pissed. So then they get on the bus while this entire situation is going down. At first I was like, yo, I forgot, is the stand on the bus? Because whenever the bus heads into the thing, I was like, man, I remember the place, but I don't remember like how it happens. So then Rohan, of course, after all of that went down, Rohan attempts to tell him the situation. It's like, yo, I see someone over there, and he sees this illusion, and that looks to be Kosaku, aka Kira, going in, about to take off a woman's hand. You know, classic Kira stuff. And it just makes you think, it's like, holy crap. And then it just raises stakes even higher, because then you know what's going on between both of them. Josuke's telling him to shut up because he's like, nah, man, listen, I already know what you're doing here. I know you're pissed at me. Like there's no way in hell that basically that you're telling the truth. Now, before I continue on with that, continuing on with the story, because I said it back in couple chapters ago, that my three favorite arcs in part 4 are Sheer Heart Attack, which already happened. We're currently in one, which is the stuff with Kosaku and the family, the Kosaku family, and we're already getting some more progression towards that in this very portion. Whenever we see the son come home, and he already says, he's like, man, my mother's been acting differently ever since. Like she never used to get nude in front of my father, and like he's just starting to question, and you see like just how perceptive he is. You just go to the kind of character and the kind of personality that he has, that he even has like this recorder in his room, both for audio and video. And you see that he's he's tempted to close in, but he hears the words Jotaro Kujo and Josuke Higashikata coming out of his supposed father's mouth. So he's already starting to question some things, seeing what goes down this arc. And then of course my number one favorite arc, most likely, I'll have to remember, it's, well, the Rohan stuff as well, when you first meet him. But I love Highway Star as well, but I think number one is Zadasto. Regardless of that, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But what's that called? Margarita's Love. But yeah, man, this particular portion right here is so intense, because in Highway Star, well, they call it Highway Go-Go, but I know it as Highway Star. So in Highway Star, you see that at first Rohan, he leaves, but he comes back on his motorcycle, and he enters the room, and then when he leaves, he sees like these footsteps on the floor, like, what the hell is going on? Because he realizes automatically that entire thing was just to lure him in there, and that it was a trap used for him. So whenever he's gone, he realizes that this thing is actually can only chase him up to 60 miles per hour. So he moves up to 80, but then he has to stop because his truck is in the way, and it's just a classic Araki, just doing simple stuff there, but it's so effective. So he continues moving on forward, and then of course we get to find out exactly what the stand can do. And it's just insane how this thing, once you enter that room, no matter what it does, it will chase you down to the end of the earth to get its nutrients. And you're like, holy crap. So then he takes him back to the room. Josuke comes up in there, and you're just thinking to yourself, it's like, is Rohan gonna do it? And the stakes get even higher, and Araki is so good at this, at making your heart beat so fast. He's like, yo, it's like, you know that he won't do it, but he might do it, because knowing the situation at hand. Because a regular human being, you think of yourself in the situation, like, man, what would I do? Like, if I'm pissed off at this other person, like, what would I do? I'm trying to get out of the situation. But at the same time, this other individual, me and him just had beef. He just burned down my house. He doesn't believe me. We have huge beef. So what am I gonna do? Am I gonna risk my life? And then you see Rohan ask the question, it's like, well, will you really spare my life, yo? And you're like, yo, and you already know this sly bastard of Highway Star. He's like, yeah, I promise my ass, I promise. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I thought that part was absolutely fantastic. Just the way in the music, the way it kept getting higher and higher. Your heart is beating, right? Like, holy crap. Josuke entered this room, and it was classic, because Rohan basically tells, he basically tells him, I love telling strong individuals that I recognize as being strong, no. And then he goes right at Josuke, tells him to run away. Josuke, what does he do? He goes with the entire the entire basic thing that's been drilled into the story the past two episodes, that Josuke does the complete opposite of what we believe he's gonna do. And he comes right up in there. He says, I don't give a damn who that is, man. I'm gonna whoop him anyway. And that's the attitude we love from Josuke. He goes right up in there. He enters the room, and now Highway Star has found someone to go after. So Rohan, he left him back over there, and Josuke, it's so awesome, Sauce, because now it's gonna build that relationship between both of them, and it's great. It's absolutely greatness, because it's just the stakes are so high. You're like, Rohan is about to die. Not even Heaven's Door could do it. And the best thing about it, Rohan uses Heaven's Door to fly him back 70, specifically 70. Since right back, Josuke brings up Crazy Diamond, gets the motorcycle, and he's right on to go. But you see Highway Star right behind him, and that's how the episode ends. He's like, Rohan, I will come back for you, man. But it's so awesome how Araki was just... went from having an episode of having the alien, and that in turn led it to a house to go into Rohan's house. Then that in turn led to this particular story arc with Highway Star. So I just love how Araki connects these different things that at first you'd be like, how do these, like, if you put these three things on a piece of paper, you're like, okay, what do these have to do with it with each other? And then it connects so well, and you're like, holy crap, man! It's great storytelling on Araki's part. And it's absolutely beautiful. But like I said before, this episode advanced two storylines there. Well, three actually. The relationship between Rohan and Josuke, obviously, and then of course with the Highway Star, it's like, how is Josuke gonna get out of the situation? Who is he gonna go after? Where will he find the stand user? I mean, he has to continue going back into that tunnel. I mean, that's the only way, right? And then of course the thing at the Kosaku family household, because that thing, I'm telling you, that thing had me so interested. I could not stop flipping the pages whenever I was reading the manga, and it's so good and so interesting. But that kid, man, and I think the opening does a fantastic job of really showcasing just how important that part of the story is to the entire story of part 4. And yeah, that stuff at the Kosaku family household, I can't wait to see more, because I honestly forgot, except for just a few things that are really blurry. I don't really remember, and it's just as exciting as I remember it being. So, and plus, you know, the wife is finer than hell, dude. She has red hair. You know how I am, son. But you guys, Gnosis of Day, this week's episode of JoJo was awesome sauce. You know, straight up from beginning to end of the episode. Because at the beginning of the episode, you're like, man, how is Rohan gonna find him out? Will he find him out? And then you see my boy show up. He brings it up. He's like, yo, I'm like everything, all odds are against Josuke. Now the sirens are going off, and you see him throwing up because he shook him up so much. And he's like, he's gonna get found out. And then actually the house burns down because of the microscope he used to try to find, you know, what was in the dice. And you're like, wow, man, all these different things, and they led right into each other, you know, especially with the Highway Stars. You gotta respect Araki's storytelling abilities of how he intersects and connects these things so well that whenever they finally connect, you're like, damn. It's like he set it up for this so it could happen here, and it's great. And it's awesome because it's gonna strengthen the relationship between Josuke and Rohan. But you guys, from Gnosis Day, thank you so much for watching Highway Star Part 1. Gets a great sauce from me. Really good episode. And the opening is really growing on me, man. Like, at first, the opening, how do I put it? I still preferred the first two over it by quite a lot. But man, after watching it again and again, like, man, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really liking it. It's an awesome opening. And I think it truly does fit just the entirety of Part 4, but also this part, like I said before, with the visual representation of just how important that Kosaku family arc is to the entirety of Part 4, and it's great, and I love how Araki does these things. But it's just one of the things that really makes me love JoJo. But you guys, been awesome today. Highway Star Part 1, great sauce.